Hi guys, karibuni tena kwenye tuongee na Kilonzi. Now today I want us to talk about a serious topic, and I know this may be a sad topic. I know it's a taboo topic. Many people don't like talking about it. So for this time I'm going to give you a trigger warning. If you have recently lost a person in death, I want to assure you that this topic is not the topic for you. Please, this time I will allow you to skip this video and watch. You can watch another video or wait for the next time I post Maze. Now that aside, I want us again to talk about death. I know death is a taboo topic, people don't like talking about it, but it is an inevitable part of life. Now, the biggest question I get is that as an atheist, where do you believe you go when you die? What happens to you when you die? And I usually like answering and saying, things will continue. It's just that I want to be there to see it. But then the thing is, I think it's a serious topic that we need to address. We need to say, like, where really does someone like me think they go when they die? And I think we should talk about this. I think people are scared because we have this superstition. We feel that when you talk about death, it will soon visit you, which is not always the case. It's not true, actually. So, death strikes when it strikes. So, what do I believe will happen when I die? The simple answer is I simply think I will stop to exist. I won't be here. It will be the same as before I was born. I wasn't here, I wasn't existing, I didn't know, I didn't feel anything. So I feel that that's the same thing that actually happens to us when we die. I know that is not the comforting answer that many people have been given, because many religious people are told that they go live somewhere else, be it in heaven, be it they get reincarnated. So let me tell you why I feel this way. So first of all, we know that our brain is made up of neurons, and at death, neural activity ceases. That is, neurons stop working, they stop firing. Now, we know that the brain is what forms my mind. So, my mind is something that I conceptualize, but physically, at the physical level, it is made up of the brain, which is made up of neurons, and these neurons fire and form connections in order to form new memories, in order to help when problem solving and all that. They usually fire through electrical signals, and at the point where they connect, they use some chemical communication, and this chemical transmits to another neuron, which decides if it fires or not. So it's a complex thing that goes on. But what we know is that at death, all this ceases to exist. They stop doing that because they do not have the energy they need to continue pushing or to continue firing. Now, that is one thing that leads me to conclude that because my brain is physical, and from there now we have conceptualized a mind that is me. Now, when the physical stops, I am sure the mind also stops working. That is why I say that I believe I won't be there. I won't experience it. Now, the other thing is that we can actually note that changing a person's physical brain changes the person. Now, for example, there was this time that people thought that a lobotomy would treat someone. A lobotomy is basically they made an insertion through here, and then they scraped some part of your brain from. That's why they made an insertion through here so that they don't have to go through the skull. Now, what would happen was that they would scrape some part of this front part of the brain, and that would make people change emotionally, in that they would not be able to experience emotions as they once had. And this totally changes their personality, such that a person can do something without remorse, without guilt, without fear, things that they were not able to do in the past. So you see, this thing can truly change someone. Now, guys, the other thing I want to bring out is that we humans are also animals. We are the products of 3.7 billion years of evolution. That is from simple life all the way to the variety of life we see today. So, my question would be, at what point did animals, or do also plants, do bacteria have souls? At what point were these life forms given souls, if it is us? What about our closest relatives, like the chimpanzees? Do they also get a soul? Do they have a soul? And then what about our closest relatives who went extinct, like the Neanderthals and the Denisovans? In fact, we know that we are so closely related that we interbred, and to this day, there are people who have DNA, or we can say genes, from Neanderthals and Denisovans, and they have those genes with them, showing that we clearly interbred with them. Did they also have souls? Where did they go when they died? Now, these are questions that have to be answered. If we didn't have souls, let's say, if we didn't have souls from bacteria, from archaea, and when we turned into eukaryotes and all that, at what point did we start getting souls? I know for dog lovers, when I ask you where does your dog go when it dies, we know that all dogs go to heaven. But that aside, where do they really go? Where do dogs go? Where do cats go? Where do lions go? Now, we know we are all related in this family tree of mammalia or mammals. So, at what point did a certain family group get souls and others were left out? So, with that, I just feel like it's also the same thing. Just as a cat dies, goes nowhere, I know, manze cat lovers naingililia. And just as also we can say a rat dies, it goes nowhere. Same thing, when I die, I do not go anywhere. That's the end of me. Now, with that in mind, I know I also get asked now other questions that come up once I mention that. So let me address a few. So the first question I get is, but don't we humans have a soul? Where does the soul go when you die? So I think I have touched on that. I do not believe we have souls, and there is no sufficient evidence to think that there is something like a soul. It has not been demonstrated, but at the time it is demonstrated, it is okay. At that time, I will accept it. Another question I get asked is, what if you die and then you meet God and realize God is real? Well, at that point, the best thing I can say is, if there is a God and I meet that there is indeed a God and God is real, then if the God is just and if the God is just, he'll know that I indeed tried my best to find the truth. And if that is not good enough for him, then what more can I do? After all, he's God. And if that's not good enough for him, so yeah, whatever punishment awaits me, awaits me. And if he's just, I bet I'll get a reward for really trying, because I tried to find the truth. The other question I get is, what about near death experiences? Because people have gotten those experiences, and some see bright lights, they see things, some even talk to God himself. Doesn't that prove that really there is a God, or there is something that exists beyond this life? Now, one thing I'll say is that when it comes to near death experiences, first of all, we don't have what we call consistency. People see different things based on, and this is a key factor, their religion. How a Hindu will experience the near death experience will be very different from how a Christian will experience it, from how a Muslim will experience it, because it depends with what they have been taught. Like, for example, a Muslim may feel the angel of death taking the soul from his body, because they believe that, I mean, some of them believe that the angel of death picks your soul from up here and pulls it out, and it's a very painful experience to experience that. So that's why I'm saying that, you see, the thing is, people will experience it differently. Some Christians may see a bright light, some may see God, Jesus, others see just one God, others see God and Jesus as separate things, others see a host of angels. So it does depend on your spiritual experience or on your spiritual beliefs. And that's what influences it. So the lack of consistency shows that this thing, it's a relative thing. And we also know that is from brain scans. We know that your brain changes, that is the chemical properties changes. That time that you're at that near death experience, your brain suddenly releases chemicals, and that's why people tend to have this blissful, or they tend to experience that bliss, that feeling that they feel. Some say they feel happy, some say they feel so content, relaxed. So as they're experiencing all these things. So the thing is, your brain chemistry changes, and we don't know how can we not attribute it to that, the brain chemical state changing. And then why is it subjective that it depends on your religion? So if it was true, we would have consistent and reliable tales from people who have had near death experience. That is why I do not believe that that is part of the proof. Another question I experience is that if death is the end of it all, what is the point of being alive? Now, I'd say this question would be similar to me asking you, if your vacation will come to an end, what is the point of having a vacation? If also your marriage will come to an end, because you know marriages end either through death, through divorce, what is the point of marrying in the first place? You see, with any other thing, we don't think that way. For example, I can ask you, even your car one day will come to an end. It will stop functioning. Your phone will come to an end. It will stop functioning, or it will be out of fashion, or we will have better technology, so your phone will become slow. What is the point of owning that phone right now? Owning that car right now? And I think now you can see where I'm going with this. You see, the fact that life will come to an end does not mean it's not useful now, does not mean we cannot enjoy it now. So, the best thing is to enjoy this life that we have. Yes, it's Team YOLO. This is the only life that I believe I have, so I'm living it to the fullest. I'm going to enjoy it. I also urge you to do the same. Enjoy this life to the fullest. Now, the fact that it will come to an end, it's a sad thing, but it's inevitable. And the best thing you can do is enjoy it right now while it lasts. Make the best use of it. It's not useless that we are here. The thing is, enjoy it. If you knew the odds that it took for me and you to be here right now, you do your thing, live your life to the fullest, and enjoy. So that's all I can say about death. And I think the best thing, if you're going to take out something out of this discussion, is please live your life to the fullest. Live to the best of your ability. Don't let anyone pull you down or tell you you can't do some things. That is, of course, without harming any other person. Those are the only restrictions we have. But live your life to the fullest. You want to travel, travel. You want to do this, because at the end of the day, we only have one life. And I'm not advocating for hedonism or pure hedonism. You see, we also have to take some things with balance. But all I'm saying is that please enjoy your life once in a while if you're not doing so yet. So, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this. I want to also hear what you have to say about this topic. You can drop your comments there, Apocini. Drop your comments there, and share, like this video. But for this one, when I tell you to share, please also be reasonable and use discernment. If somebody has recently lost a person in death, this is not the time to share this video with them. So continue caring for one another, guys. Thanks a lot. Please subscribe, like this video, and also share it. And thank you very much, and keep it always tuongee na Kilonzi.